Hi, this is Desiree Pinton with Dragon Yoga OKC, located at 4516 Northwestern Avenue. Today's class is our Dragon class. It's our foundational class, which will help you get the postures correct. We really hope you enjoy it. So you're going to come to Balasana in the middle of your mat, child's pose. Taking your knees out wide, feet together, I want you to start to walk your hands towards the front of your mat so that your chest drops in between your thighs and your tailbone lengthens towards the back edge of your mat. Pressing all 5 fingers down into the mat, breathing into your back ribs, side ribs, and front ribs. Hey guys, come here. Tony, Moose, come on. Slowly exhale all of your breath. And inhale in for 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top. And then exhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom. Inhale in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing at the top. And then exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Taking your lips together, relax the back of your throat and start to tap into that ujjayi breath, that audible breath like you're fogging up a mirror, loud enough for your neighbor to hear. And start to walk your hands over to the right, pulling to the left. So you're going to press that left palm down on top of your right hand and pull your left rib cage to the left side of the room. Pressing your left hand down onto your right hand, pulling your rib cage towards the left. And then coming back through center, walk it over to the other side. Right hand stacks on top of left. And you're pulling your rib cage to the right side of your mat this time, getting that big stretch, feeling those intercostal muscles start to wake up. And then start to walk back to center. From here, you're going to shift forward into a box, taking hands underneath shoulders, knees slightly back from your hips, curling your toes under. Inhale, drop your belly down, pull your heart forward, look up. Shoulders are expanding away from one another, sit bones spread apart. And then exhale, belly and round spine, tuck chin, lengthening your spine in the opposite direction. Drop your belly, pull your heart forward. Pressing your palms down, pull your chest forward even more, spine long. And then exhale, belly and round spine, tuck chin, lengthening towards the ceiling. And then come back to neutral. Stepping back into plank. Shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles line up. Belly pulls in. Heart lengthens forward. Pressing your palms down, pulling them towards your toes, toes towards hands, starting to feel your body heat up. And then taking your hips high, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Pressing into all 5 fingers. Tilting your biceps up towards the ceiling, extending your shoulders away from one another, creating a little space. Bend your knees, tilt your sit bones up super high. And then exhale your heels down. Don't worry about your feet coming all the way to the mat and your thigh bones pressed back, but keep the length in your spine. Looking in between your hands, bend your knees, hop or step to the front of your mat, forward fold. Feet are hip distance apart. That's 2 fists between your feet. Your weight is distributed over your heels, so hips over heels. Head lengthens towards the ground. Coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Making sure your kneecaps are facing forward, light up your quads, releasing your hamstrings. And then pressing your fingertips down into the ground, Ardha Uttanasana, half back. Pulling your heart forward, feel the side bodies get long from your hip bones to your armpits, out through the crown of your head. Keep bending those knees. Pull your chest forward even more. And then take your hands to your hips, elbows up. Pressing into the 4 corners of your feet, engaging all of your muscles, stand up. Arms up, reach up, stretch up, Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale, palms together at heart center, closing your eyes and taking a moment to set an intention for your practice. Making sure you have some purpose for why you're here doing work. Bowing your chin, going within. And then as you lift up, opening up your eyes, arms up, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Taking your hands underneath your feet, Padahastasana, hand under foot pose, lining your toes up with your wrist lines, chest in between thighs, dropping your heads, making sure your shoulders are away from your ears. Good. And you want to make sure your chest is plastered to your thighs, engaging your leg muscles, pulling your heart towards your toes even more, and maybe even giving yourself a massage with those toes on your wrists. Taking your hands on your hips, elbows up, plugging into the 4 corners of your feet, stand up. Arms up, reach up, stretch up. Good. And then you're going to interlace your fingers, take your palms up towards the ceiling. Bump to the right, reach up and over to the left. Shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles square to the front of your sticky mat. Your chin is off your chest. Your shoulders are squeezing together as your collarbones expand away from one another. Bump and reach and puff your ribcage up towards the ceiling without hyperextending your elbows. And then back to center, interlacing your hands the opposite direction. Bump to the left, reach up and over to the right. Shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles stay square to the front. Chin is up. The muscles are squeezing the bone. Bump and reach even more. Inhale, back to center. Taking your hands behind you, your fingertips are going to go up your back and your hands are at your waistline. Using your hands to push your butt cheeks and your tailbone down, lift your side bodies and go up and back. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, pull your heart forward, lengthening your spine. Hands on your hips, elbows up, get even longer, and then stand up. Arms up, reach up, stretch up, look up. Good. This time, turn your right hand to the left, and your left hand's gonna grab your right wrist. Bump to the right, reach up and over to the left. Squaring up to the front edge of your mat, bump and reach even more. That top hand is going to reach towards the left side of the room. Arms up, reach up, stretch up. Left hand turns to the right. Right hand grabs left wrist. You're going to bump your hips to the left like you're going to knock the person next to you over and reach up and over to the right. Squaring everything up with the front edge of your mat, bump and reach. Chin off chest, shoulders squeeze together, and collarbones pull apart. Inhale, back to center. Good. Arms up, reach up, stretch up, look up. Take your arms out like goalposts, plugging into the 4 corners of your feet. Reach up and back. Reach up, look up, stretch up. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Pull your heart forward, lengthening your spine. Ardha Uttanasana. Take your hands to your hips, elbows up, and then stand up. Arms up, reach up, stretch up, look up. And then palms come together at heart center. You're going to drop your butt, take your elbows to the insides of your thighs, coming into porta potty and Utkatasana variation. Dig your inner ankles down and back, elbows press in, and you're going to resist with your inner thighs as you pull your heart forward, finding cobra in your chest. Sit bones spread apart, spine gets long, sink it down even more. Relax your faces. We're still there. Get low. You got this. And then forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Pull your heart forward, lengthening your spine. Get long. Come on, Tony. Come here. Take your hands on your hips, elbows up. And then stand up. Arms up, reach up, stretch up, look up, zip up your legs, feet together, toes and ankles touching, sit it down, Utkatasana, fierce pose. You can take your hands up or palms together, and if you have shoulder issues, you can drop your hands to heart center, but squeeze your thighs, knees, and shins together, get real low, and raise your chest up over your hips. Gaze or dristi is up slightly, and butt is down low. So serious, so serious. Sink it down even more. Forward fold. Take your hands to your hips, elbows up, stand up, coming into Vrikasana, tree pose. So you can take your left foot to the inside of your ankle or calf, or you're going to take your left hand, reach in between your thigh, grab your ankle, and placing your left foot inside the right thigh, pressing your foot into your thigh, opening up your knee to the left side of the room, squaring your hips up to the front of your mat. Good. And then from here, you can take your hands to heart center, palms pressed together. If you want to take your hands up and grow branches, you can do that as well. Trying to focus on something that's not moving in front of you. And if you really want to challenge yourself, close your eyes. And then release, switch sides. Shake it out. Plugging into the four corners of your left foot, engaging your standing leg, take your right foot to the inside of your ankle, calf, or inner thigh. Pressing your foot into your thighs, keeping your hips square to the front of your mat, and then palms come together at heart center, lengthening through the crown of your head. Feel your collarbones expanding away from one another as you root down into the ground and you grow taller through the crown of your head. Breathing here, maybe closing your eyes again. Growing branches if you did on the other side. And then release, shake it out. Stepping to the left, coming to the middle of your mat. Feet together, toes and ankles touching, taking hands together at heart center, palms pressed together. Bending your knees, hop it out, star pose. Shoulders, elbows, and wrists line up in one straight line. Toes are slightly in, heels slightly out. Grow tall, expanding through your arms. Pull your belly in, light up your legs. Parsarita Padottanasana. Wide leg forward fold, hinging forward at your hips. Grab your big toes with your peace fingers. Shoulders away from ears. Sit bones spread apart, spine long. Engaging your leg muscles as your belly drops in between your thighs. Pulling your heart towards the outer edge of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward a little bit more. Releasing your toes, inhale, flat back, taking your hands to your hips, elbows up, and then stand up. Taking your hands back out wide. Puff up your chest, extending your arms out towards the walls. Taking your hands out. Jen, drop your hands. Sylvester. Interlacing your hands at your sacrum, squeeze the butt of your palms together, bending your elbows, shoulder loop towards the back of the room. Puff up your chest and then fold forward again, taking your hands up and over, making sure your weight stays forward so your hips are lined up over your heels. Make sure not to hyperextend your elbows. Bend your elbows if you need to keep the palms together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward a little bit more, letting those hands come up and over even more. And then your fists are going to pull you back up, extending your hands out wide, coming back to star pose. Setting up warrior one on the right. Pivot your right foot to the front of your mat. Kick your left heel back and bend into your front knee as you windmill your arms up and around, coming into Virabhadrasana 1. Right hip pulls back, left hip pulls forward. If you have a little difficulty getting that left hip around, step your left foot to the left side of your mat, creating space between your legs. Tailbone lengthens down, heart lifts high, pushing into your front foot. Feel your side bodies lengthen up even more. Good. Sinking into that front leg so that your thigh bone is parallel to the mat. Reach up, stretch up. Press into the outer back edge of that left foot. Find a little bit more movement. And then take it back to star pose. Coming into warrior one on the left. Pivot your left foot to the left side of your mat. Kick your right heel out. Windmill your arms up and around, squaring your hips up to the back of your mat. That's now being used as the front of your mat. Good. Left hip back, right hip forward, pressing into the outer edge of that left leg. And then reach your arms up and back. Deva Lapidus, relax your fingers. Keep breathing, lining up the outside of your left hip, the middle of your knee, and your ankle. Sink it down even more, pressing into your front foot. Lift your chest up and back. Pivot to the right, star pose. From here, you're going to step to the front of your mat. Good. Taking your hands to your hips. Leaving your right foot there, step your left leg back about 3 feet, toes facing forward. And then inhale, both arms up overhead, reach up, look up, stretch up. And then pivot forward, taking your hands to frame your right foot, right hip back, left hip forward. Lighting up your front leg, right butt cheek goes back and up. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward. Exhale, fold. Taking your forehead towards your shin. Coming into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Breathing into the back of that right leg. Inhale, flat back. Take your hands to your hips, elbows up, and then raise up your chest. Take your left foot to meet your right. Coming to the front of your mat in Tadasana. Good. From here, your left foot's going to stay there. Your right foot's going to step back about 3 feet, keeping your hips square to the front of your sticky mat. Inhale, arms up, reach up, stretch up, look up, and then hinging forward, framing your foot with your hands. Keep that left hip pulling back as you're make sure your sit bones spread apart, your groins are hollow. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward, taking your forehead to your shin. Engaging those legs, making sure you don't block out that left knee and push it into hyperextension. Inhale, flat back. Take your hands to your hips, elbows up, and then stand up. Good. Take your right foot to meet your left. And then pivot to the left again, coming into the middle of your mat. Take your hands to heart center, palms pressed together. Bend your knees, hop it out, star pose. Toes are slightly in, heels slightly out, grow tall. Good. From here, we're going into warrior two. Take your right toes towards the right, kick your left heel out, sink your hips down, plugging your femur bone into your hip socket. Keeping your arms extended out, look over your front middle finger. Your right butt cheek is going to tuck under and your left hip is tucking towards the front of your mat, stacking your shoulders over your hips, and then feel your left rib cage pull to the left back corner of your mat. Good. The energy is shooting out of your fingertips as the muscle squeezes the bone. And then remember to create space between your teeth so that you're not clenching your jaw. Sink it down even more. Squeezing the sticky mat between your feet. And then release, coming back to star pose. You guys are doing great. Take your left toes to the left. Kick your right heel out. Sink your hips down, plugging your left femur bone into your hip socket. Femur bone is parallel to the mat as you square up that front leg and shin to your mat. Make sure your left knee pulls to the left outer edge of your mat as you extend through your arms. Make sure your left thigh is parallel and your back thigh is pushing up, rolling to the outside edge of that back foot so your inner arch lifts. Sink it down even more, squeezing the sticky mat. Make sure your shoulders are stacked over your hips so that you're not surfing. And then release, coming back to star. Set up warrior one on the right again. So right toes to the right, back heel kicks out, sink it down. Reaching forward, you're going to take your right forearm to the top of your right thigh, palm facing up. Left hand is going to go right in front of you. Plug your shoulder back into your shoulder socket and then windmill your hand forward, pinky edge down, tricep to cheek, twisting through your belly, opening up your chest, squeezing the sticky mat with both feet. Making sure your right shoulder is pulling away from you. You're creating a straight line of energy from your top middle finger to your back heel. Breathe. Inhale pulls you back up, star pose. Warrior two to the left. Drop your hips down. And then reaching forward as far as you can, left forearm to the top of your left thigh, palm facing up, bicep facing forward. Take your right hand in front of you and then pull your shoulder back onto your back. And then pinky edge down, take your hand towards the front of your mat. Twisting through your belly, squeezing the sticky mat with both feet. Open your chest up. Hang on, you've got this. Twisting through your belly, sinking down a little bit more. And then top arm pulls you back up, star pose. And then bend your knees, hop together, Tadasana. Taking your hands to heart center, palms pressed together, bend your knees, hop it out, star pose. Toes slightly in, heels slightly out, extending through your arms. Windmilling your hands down to the right, spike your back heel, coming into low lunge. Right hip back, left hip forward. Press your fingertips into the ground as your spine gets long. And then inhale, arms up, Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. Right hip back, left hip forward. Pull your right knee to the right outer edge of your mat. Squeeze the sticky mat with your front foot and your back toes. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach up even more. Good. Keep bending that front knee so that your thighs parallel to the ground. Other side, windmill your hands to the left, spike your right heel, coming into low lunge. Getting that nice long foundation, making sure your left knee is directly over your heel, left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale, arms up, reach up, stretch up, look up. We like stripper heels, 5-inch stilettos, not modest pumps. So make sure that heel is so high that you start to feel your calf muscle engage. Pressing into your front foot, lifting your lower belly off your front thigh. Don't forget to breathe. Reach up a little bit more. And then coming back to star pose. It's warm there. I think they keep going back to the warmth. Windmill your hands back to the right, low lunge. Spike your back heel, right hip back, left hip forward. Drop your back knee, making sure you're in front of that kneecap. And then you're going to inhale, arms up, reach up, stretch up, pressing your hips forward. Take your hands to heart center, pressing your palms together, lengthen your side bodies, and take your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Making sure that left back side of your rib cage twists up and over the front thigh. Pressing your back toes down, lift your left knee, coming into Parvrita Parsvottanasana. And then if you want a little bit more of the twist, open up your arms, twisting even more. On your inhale, lengthen your spine forward. On your exhale, twist and take your drishti up towards your top thumb. Finding cobra in your chest. And then release low lunge. Hands frame your foot. And then windmill it around star pose. Shoulders stack over hips. Taking a moment here. And then windmill to the back of your mat, low lunge. Spiking your back heel, left hip back, right hip forward. Pull your heart towards the front edge of your mat. And then wiggle your back foot back a little bit and then drop your back knee. Inhale, arms up, reach up, stretch up, look up. And then hands come together at heart center, palms press. In. Inhale, lengthen up through your side bodies. Exhale, twist, right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Pressing your elbow into your thigh and your thigh into your elbow, resist and pull your spine towards the back of your mat. Press your back foot down as you lift your right knee, twisting through your belly. And then start to open up your arms, twisting a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist even deeper. And then release low lunge, framing your left foot with your hands. Windmill it around star pose. Stacking your shoulders over your hips. Coming into Uhita Trikonasana. Last two postures of the standing series. Right toes go to the right. Kick your left heel towards the back of your mat. And come into Warrior Two. As you start to reach forward, I want you to straighten through your front leg. Reach until your right side body is parallel to the ground. Keep reaching, plugging your right femur bone into your hip socket, right hand outside of your right shin, and your left arm goes up. Pressing your right forearm into your shin, shin into forearm, twisting your chest up towards the ceiling, growing long on both side bodies, tucking your top two ribs in. Make sure you keep squeezing the mat with both feet and don't hyperextend that front leg. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist and look up towards that top thumb. And then release, coming back to star. Good job. Set up Warrior Two to the left, toes to the left side. Kick that back heel back, kick that right heel back. And then we're going to do the same thing. So you're going to start to straighten that left leg, really start to reach towards the back of the room, reaching even further. And then take your left hand outside of your left shin and your right arm up, stacking your shoulders, elbows, and wrists in one straight line, squeezing the sticky mat with both feet. And then release, come back, star pose. You're almost there. Good. From here, you're gonna step to the front of your mat, And take your hands to your hips. Leaving your right foot there, you're going to step your left foot back about 3 feet. Really hinging that right hip back so your hips stay square to the front of your mat. And then inhale your left arm up, reach up, stretch up. And as you hinge forward, take your chest parallel to the ground, reaching your hand towards the front of the room, and then left hand down, and then right arm up. Taking your left hand as close as you can to your right big toe, I want you to twist through your belly, keeping your hips level, and look up at your right thumb. Parvrita Trikonasana, revolve triangle pose. Keep twisting through your belly, making sure your legs are super strong. Release, taking your right hand to meet your left. Take your left foot to meet your right, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Hands on your hips, elbows up, and then stand up. Parvrita Trikonasana on the left side. Left foot stays there, right foot steps back about 3 feet, keeping your hips square to the front of the sticky mat. Raise your right arm up super high, getting long on that side body. Hinging forward, taking your chest parallel to the mat. Reach, reach, reach. Right hand down, left hand reaches up. Good. Twisting through your belly, keeping those hips level. Sometimes you can put your top hand on your hips to make sure they're level. I don't know why. It doesn't ever help me. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I never know where my hips are. All right, press your fingertips down, pull your heart forward, twisting through your belly. Good. Make sure that right hip is pulling up. Squeezing the sticky mat with both feet. And then your left hand meets your right, and your right foot meets your left, forward fold. Nice job, you guys. Inhale, flat back, pull your heart forward, lengthening your spine. Pressing your palms down into the mat, step it back, plank pose. Shoulder stack over wrist, belly pulls in. And as you look forward, start to slowly lower down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pelvis drops, point your toes, claw the ground, cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Pressing your fingertips down into the ground, pull your heart forward even more, pressing through your second toe, making sure all 10 toes are on the mat. And then come all the way down, hands beside you, palms up, right ear to the mat. Setting up Shalabhasana, locust pose. So you're going to look forward, interlacing your hands behind your back, right above your butt crack. Squeeze the butt of your palms together, press the tops of your feet down, and then lifting your chest up. So you're going to lengthen your chest forward and then lift up, taking your hands towards the back of your mat as you reach up and back even more. Pressing all 10 toes down into the mat. The more you press your pelvis and your thighs and your feet into the mat, the higher up you'll lift. And then release, other ear to the mat, hands beside you, palms up. Maybe windshield wiper your legs or shake your booties. Whatever feels nice. And then coming back to center, Makarasana, crocodile. Interlace your hands behind your head, squeezing the butt of the palms into the head and the head into the palms. Press your elbows into the ground, hollowing out your armpits, and then lift up. Head reaches up towards the ceiling. Good. Press down, lift up even more. These are mid-back muscles, so they always suck. You got this. Press down, lift up. And then release. Right ear to the mat, hands beside you, palms up. Good. We are almost done with all of our belly down back bends. One more. So you're going to look forward, bending your knees, reaching around, grabbing the outside edges of your feet, coming into Dhanurasana, floor bow. Pulling your knees about hip distance apart. They have a tendency to flare out, so line up your hips and knees. And then push your feet into your hands until you lift up. Good. And you can see as Sabrina is modifying and just reaching towards her heels as she raises up her chest. Good. Kick your feet into your hands one more time. Lift up even higher. And then release. Taking your hands beside you, lining your thumb up with the bottom of your breastbone. Curl your toes, raise your knees, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles in one straight line. Hover your belly an inch off the ground. High plank. Downward facing dog. Good. Big breath in. Big exhale out. Shifting forward into plank, take your right knee behind your right wrist and your right heel under your left hip. Wiggling your left foot back, coming into Ekapada Rajakapatasana on the right side. Taking your forearms to the mat. Maybe extending them out in front of you, taking your forehead all the way down. Starting to slow down that heart. Starting to slow down that heartbeat. The longer you're in this posture, the harder it is to stay in it. So try and force yourself to not fidget. Breathing into any place you might be holding tension. Start to walk your hands underneath your shoulders as you shift forward onto your right shin, coming into Gomukhasana. So you're going to lift your left leg back behind you, squeezing it behind your left knee. Squeezing your left knee behind your right, separating your heels and sitting back in between them. Take your right arm up and then drop your hand behind you, taking it in between your shoulder blades. Your left arm is going to go up your back, trying to clasp your hands behind you, maybe taking a strap if you can't reach, or if you have shoulder issues, just take your hands back beside your hips. But you're going to squeeze your knees together, push your heels away, and then hinge forward slightly. And then releasing your hands, take your right foot to the front of your left knee. Take your right hand behind you as a kickstand. As you inhale, your left arm up, reach up, stretch up, and then left elbow outside of right thigh, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Coming into Ardha Matsyendrasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And release, counter twisting to the left. And then come back to center. You're going to windmill your right leg back behind you, coming into Ekapada Rajakapatasana on the left side. Squaring your hips up towards the front edge of your mat, pulling your heart forward, lengthening your spine towards the front. And then take your hands out in front of you, forehead to the ground, or whatever feels nice for you in this posture. Start to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders, lifting up your chest, shifting your weight into the left shin. As you raise your right leg up, take your right knee behind your left, separating your heels and sitting back. Squeeze your knees together, push your ankles away from one another, and take your left arm up this time and drop it down into the middle back. And then right arm reaches around, down and around and up. Good. Now, if you have any shoulder issues, just maybe you can do the tricep stretch that Sabrina and David are doing, or just take your hands back beside you. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, shift forward. And then release. Take your hands back beside you. Take your left foot to the front of your right knee. Take your left arm behind you. Inhale your right arm up and twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana on the left side. Remember, we don't want to lean into that lower back, so really push down and lift that chest up as your pelvic bowl tilts forward. And then release. Twisting to the right. Good. And then come back to center, extending your legs out in front of you, coming into Dandasana, staff pose. Pull the flesh out from underneath your sit bones, so actually pick up your butt cheeks and pull them apart, and then grow tall. And then take your left hand to the outside of your left knee and pull your knee out as your left foot comes to the inside of your thigh. You can take your right leg out slightly as you square your shoulders up towards your right toes. Use your right hand to pull your chest and line your sternum up with your right thigh. Heel presses forward, toes pull back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Janu Shirshasana. Taking your forehead towards your shin. Breathing into the back of that right leg. And then release. Coming into Parvrita Janu Shirshasana. So your right forearm is going to go inside your right thigh, and your left hand is going to go to your left hip. As you press your right forearm into your leg and resist, you're going to start to twist your rib cage up towards the ceiling, and then reach your left arm towards the back of the room, palm facing up, and start to take it towards your right toes as you reach up and over, getting that big side body stretch on the left side of your body. It's not so much about touching your toes as it is about twisting up towards the ceiling and getting that big side body stretch from your left hip all the way out through your fingers. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach a little bit more. And then release. Switching sides, extending both legs out in front of you, coming into Dandasana, staff pose. So reset, pull the flesh out. Good. Grab your right knee with your right hand and pull it towards you, lining your heel up with your pelvic floor, and then left leg out slightly. Good. Framing your left leg with both hands, using your left hand to pull your heart towards the left, lining your sternum up with your shin. Good. That left heel presses forward and left thigh presses down as you push your heel forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward even more. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold again. So it's great if you can grab your foot, but it doesn't matter. Use your fingertips to pull your chest towards your toes, and you'll really get a big stretch the more you push through your heel and dorsiflex your foot. And then release. Parvrita Janu Shirshasana on the left side. Left forearm inside your left thigh. Take your right hand to your hip, twisting through your belly. Open your chest up towards the ceiling. And then reach your right arm behind you, palm facing up. And then big stretch towards your left toes, up and over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good. Keep twisting that chest up towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then coming all the way back. Coming all the way back up, extending both legs out in front of you. Good. Pulling the flesh out again, stacking shoulders over hips. Grab the outside edges of your knees, pulling them out, coming into Baddha Konasana. Pressing your feet together, knees push out, growing tall. And then start to hinge forward slightly. And then from here, you're going to roll onto your backs, taking your knees into your chest, giving yourself a good little squeeze. And then reaching through your knees, grab outside edges of your feet, coming into that happy baby pose. So heels stack over knees, sit bones spread apart, and start to lengthen your tailbone towards the front of your mat, finding that low back curve as your shoulders stay on the mat. And then releasing one foot at a time, extending your legs long, taking your hands beside you, palms up, coming into Shavasana, corpse pose. Taking a moment to reconnect with your mat, knowing that you did all this hard work, and it's going to take a moment to register. Let go of any tension you still might be holding on to. Taking a collective inhale in. Exhale, let it go. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes, deepening your breath. Inhale your arms up overhead, big full body stretch here. Exhale, knees into your chest, reaching your arms around, grabbing opposite elbows. And then as you roll to the right, extend your right arm out beside you, taking your right ear to the top of your arm. Pulling your knees a little closer towards you, take your left hand in front of you and press your left hand down as you start to raise up, stacking your shoulders, coming into a seated position facing the front of your mat. Inhaling your arms up overhead, reach up, look up, stretch up. Exhale, hands together at heart center. Taking a moment to remember the intention you set for class and honoring it. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your practice. My hope and intention for each of you is that you're not only getting more strength and flexibility on your mat, but also in your life. One more big breath in. Exhale out. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I wanted to just let you guys meet Jennifer Bass over there in the blue, and Sylvester on the green, Sabrina on the orange, and David on the black mat. Hope you guys enjoyed class. Thank you so much.